Disclaimer: the following is a review/parody for comedy and entertainment purposes, and I don't own any of the clips shown. The copyright of Sonic the Hedgehog doesn't belong to me. You thought that Sonic Adventure 2 was the only Sonic game released in 2001? Well, you're wrong. Sonic Advance on the Game Boy Advance was released on December 20th, 2001, which is ironically the same exact day that the GameCube version of SA2 called Sonic Adventure 2 Battle was released in Japan. That makes this the first original Sonic game to be released on a Nintendo console. This game wasn't actually developed by Sonic Team. This time, Dimps was in charge. Sonic Advance was also released February 3rd, 2002 in North America, and March 8th, 2002 for the PAL version. There's also a version on Android devices and the Wii U Virtual Console. I've looked for Sonic Advance reviews on YouTube, and there are only about 7 reviews. 7 reviews may seem like a lot, but look at how many Sonic 06 reviews there are, and people are still making them about 11 years later. And 7's also the amount of Chaos Emeralds there are. One of the advanced reviews was uploaded 6 days ago, and Peter Knetter did a review yesterday. To be honest, that's part of what inspired me to do this review, but let's dive into this obscure game. So at this point in time, handheld Sonic games have always been lackluster, with titles like Sonic Labyrinth, which was quite terrible. Most of them were on the Sega Game Gear, which didn't really sell too well, so not that many people got to play those games. And there was also Sonic Pocket Adventure on the Neo Geo Pocket Color, released November 30th, 1999, and was the first Sonic title developed by Dimps. That game was pretty much an SA1 prequel, but it was basically a Sonic 2 rehash, and Clement really wants you to know that. Fun fact, IGN gave Pocket Adventure a 10 out of 10. How many explosions did the reviewer stand on? As I was saying, Sonic Advance was eventually released with some decent reviews saying it's good, but isn't as good as any of the other classics. Let's see what I think. As always, I'll get started with that plot. Eggman is taking animals and putting them into robots, so you as the player must choose your warrior and take the fight to Eggman. It's basically the plot of the Genesis games. That was quick, but I better not get used to it. It's time for the gameplay. The levels are Sonic 2 length, about 2 minutes, which is great considering that Sonic 2 is my favorite 2D game in the franchise. About 3.5 minutes or 4 minutes would be my ideal length for a level in a 2D Sonic title, but 2 minutes is good too. The levels are designed well and have a good mix of speed and platforming. Exoparadigman Gamer, I really hope I pronounced that correctly, says that the ideal to creating a good Sonic game is the characters being reasonably fast, there being a decent amount of platforming, and completing an objective should be straightforward and simple, and this game follows those rules well. There are 4 playable characters in this game. We have Sonic and Tails with the same moveset as they did in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Knuckles with the same deal but he could punch now, and Amy, who can't curl into a ball, uses her hammer for combat and has more of a peel-out type of spin dash. She's almost like a hard mode for the game, and you get all these characters the moment you boot up the game, so that's nice. I enjoy all 4 characters, with Sonic being the favorite, Knuckles being my second favorite, Tails being the third best, and Amy being the weakest. The boss fights are pretty fun and take some inspiration from the Genesis games too, and I find most of them just as good, or sometimes even better than that of the classics. Speaking of the classics, Chaos Emeralds are back, but you collect them through special stages, and all they do is unlock the final boss. That's it. You don't get to play as Super Sonic in regular levels, because in the 1998 through 2009 timeline, nobody wanted to play as Super Sonic in regular levels, am I right? The music is pretty catchy too. I wouldn't call it one of the best soundtracks in gaming history, but it gets the job done. There's also some bonus content in the game, such as a tiny Chow Garden, which most people just call TCG for short, and a multiplayer which I have no ability to play, but I've seen footage of it and it's using the same level design as the single player, but it's a race to see who could get to the end first. I had quite a fun time with Sonic Advance, and I'd actually rank it above Sonic 1 and CD. I may not have a lot to say about it, but that's because it's really just what you've come to expect from a 2D Sonic game. The game eventually got 2 sequels, which I thought that the second one was just as good as the first, but the first was ever so slightly better. And the third was the weakest of the trilogy, but it was alright. Despite not having much to say about these games, if you haven't, go ahead and give them a shot if you'd like. And speaking of giving something a shot, Andreas Williams Gaming is doing a Let's Play of this game right now. He does Let's Plays, reviews, fan games, and just started a series of his thoughts on certain Sonic characters and how they should be portrayed in future games, so you could check him out if you want. He wanted a shout out in the review, and since we see each other a lot in the Sonic community and I watch his videos, I said yes, and here I am doing it now. He actually has less subscribers than I do, but I mean that in a jokingly manner. Thank you all for watching this review. Please like, comment, and subscribe. The next review will be for Sonic Riders on the GameCube, original Xbox, and PlayStation 2. But until then, stay safe, stay awesome, and you're going to pay for this! If you know that quote, great, but that's enough for now. Bye. Despite not having that bounce pad.